Galaxy Square in downtown Lake Worth, Texas. This is the Grandpa and Pappy Show.
And empty.
Yeah, welcome in,
Texas.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
good.
everybody. Hope you're doing good.
Yeah,
Hope
no
you're-
kidding.
Hope you're playing by the rules and all is well in your world.
Absolutely. You know, I wonder how everybody's doing during this isolation that we're all sheltered in place. How are you handling all that? You and the divine Miss H.
Well, the divine Miss H pretty much stays at the house. You know, she gets out every now and again, but I'll get out and maybe make a run to the store and back, or come to the beautiful Studio A and One Biloxi Square. And
I'm
that's
kind of
about
getting
all- about
tired
all I
of.
do.
I'm
Check
kind of
the
getting
mail.
tired of taking baths in Clorox bleach. You know,
You have Clorox?
not after this morning.
You must be wealthy.
Hey, you know that would make a great show title. I think our buddy Jeff had written in on a suggestion on that too.
Yeah, I did. Pertaining to what is not your take so much, but how are you dealing with being quarantined?
How are you handling it?
Yeah, and what have you learned from all of this mess? I mean,
And what are you doing? What are you doing to take up your time with this?
we'd love to hear those ideas. Grandpa and Pappy at gmail.com. Let us know. That's another show right
Heck
there.
yeah,
buddy.
we may even do a show on it. Yes, sir.
And thank you for posting it, Jeff. That's
thanks,
pretty
Jeff.
cool. Yeah.
That is a good idea too.
Yeah.
Well, we, Grandpa, have a very controversial show today. As you could see from the disclaimer that we posted at the beginning of the show, some of the things that we talk about may be offensive to some of you folks, but again, here it is, two old farts sitting in front of a microphone that's lived almost 7 decades and seen a lot of things, gone through a lot of things.
We be wise.
And this be our opinions.
Strictly our opinions.
And of course, we're talking about political correctness.
Did you say that right?
Political
I'm
correctness.
sure there's another term to describe
You know,
what
we-
you just said.
We did a lot of research, you and I, when putting this show together.
We did.
And you came up with an interesting definition of what political correctness really is.
Well, according to the unabridged, may I read? And maybe somebody out there in podcast land can explain to me what the hell this really means. I mean, I'm a Southern boy, okay?
Well, aren't we both? Yeah.
Definition of political correctness: that avoiding, often considered as taken to extremes of forms of expression or actions that are perceived to exclude or marginalize, or as opposed to insults to groups of those who are socially and or discriminated against. In other words, amigo, using
Damn,
words that will not offend any group of people.
Damn, that's a lot of words for this simple mind of mine.
I don't even know what the hell it means. I know how to offend other people, but I don't know all this jibber jabber.
Political correctness. Now, we all have our opinions on political correctness. There's some things that were just generally taken for granted, words we've used all of our single lives, both of our lives, that we've used every single day of our life. That was common, ordinary language that now you can't say that, or you're not politically correct,
You are
or you
inappropriate.
piss somebody off.
And do you know that in 1793 is when this first popped up?
Get out of Dutch.
It did. Might I read again?
Yes.
Since as far back as 1793, when it first appeared in a U.S. Supreme Court decision about the boundaries of federal jurisdiction, the phrase has driven continuous debates in which freedom of speech and free choices are pitted against civility and inclusion. It hasn't changed meanings, but it has changed targets. So I think that should be reversed. It hasn't changed targets, but it has changed
Changing
meanings.
his meanings.
Yeah. Now we've got to learn how to talk all over
Couldn't
again.
agree
you know?
more. Now, you came up. Now, I got to give old Pappy here a little bit of credit. He came up and researched some of the politically correct words that we have to use now instead of just telling it like it is.
Well, these are the things that really frost my Cheerios. I mean, why?
A criminal? Come on.
That's an unsavory character.
Yeah, an unsavory character. No, a criminal's a criminal. I'm sorry. You can kiss my butt. Come on.
Bad guy, good guy, criminal, trashy, whatever.
You can't say being bald anymore. This
is one that chaps
symbolically
me.
Challenged.
And blind, visually impaired, of course.
I love this one. Body odor is non-discretionary fragrance. Where do you people come up with this shit?
It come from the far west, I'm sure.
Gee.
Cowardly is challenged.
Yeah, the deaf is hearing impaired.
And who'd have thought it? Dead? Living impaired. He's not.
No, he's not a dishwasher over there. He is a utensil sanitizer.
That's right. In a dorm? That's a residence hall. All the fun I've had in the resident halls at Tech. Oh, my.
Disabled is differently abled.
Yeah.
What's wrong with disabled? I mean, it's not your fault. It's acceptable.
And for all you chubby people out there, you're no longer fat. You're gravitationally challenged. You're hanging low to the floor, I guess.
And homeless, you can't say homeless. It's residentially flexible.
Ignorant, factually unencumbered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, incompetent is uniquely proficient.
What the hell does that mean?
I have no clue. Come on.
For all you janitors out there, you ought to ask for a raise. You're no longer a janitor. You're a sanitation engineer.
Ain't it so? Large-nosed people are now nasally gifted.
That would be me. And lazy? You'd be energetically declined if you were lazy.
God almighty, I listen to some of the...
Oh, Lord.
Where's the common sense in this world anymore? God, mankind is humankind. You cannot say mankind.
And here's one that I don't mind. This is probably the only one I don't mind.
Yeah.
People's always calling me an old man at the field office. I am a senior citizen. Don't call me an old man.
That's right, and I want that damn discount.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. The poor are economically marginalized.
By God.
Holy
And if you're
jeez.
quiet, you're conversational minimalist. Minimalist. Yeah, that word.
You know, there's so many words out there, ladies and gentlemen, that have so many meanings that you just got to let some of them roll off of your shoulders. I mean, with no malfeasance intended for anyone, the word boy. Okay,
wow.
Let's tackle that one. The word boy.
I've been poked in the nose.
It's a southern slang. You know, it's a small male child. That's what a boy is. Yeah. I mean, I was 30 years old before my daddy kept saying, "Come here, boy. I need your help."
That's right. And you came there.
And I came.
When he called you boy, you came.
Yeah. And like I was telling you before the show, I heard one time my brother, a guy, I said, "Come here, boy, before I kick your butt." And he said, "Well, you just come on over here, and I'll show you how this boy's turned into a man."
I won't repeat the story about my brother Rick when we got pulled over one night.
That was a good one.
Over the boy thing. Do you know if you're falling down drunk, you are accidentally horizontal?
Get out of Dodge.
By God, I like that. And if you're
you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
I wouldn't. No, I'll try to. That's why I sit on a bar stool all day, so I don't walk around and fall. And what would you think you were if you were a total ass?
Wait a minute. Let me think on that one. If you're a total ass.
If I called you a total ass and you said, "I deem that terminology inappropriate, my man, my good mankind," you have a rectal cranial inversion. By God.
I think I'm going to leave that one on the table because
And for all you working people out there that goober up for a raise and have been called in the break room of small circles of the gossipers, you know who you are. If you're called an ass kisser, you're no longer an ass kicker. You're an anal affectionist.
An anal affectionist.
That's right.
I like that. You know, and another word, Pat, that you and I have used growing up, cotton picking.
Cotton picking. Boy, I heard that term a lot from my dad.
I'm gonna beat your cotton picking butt if you don't get over here.
Makes me a cotton picking man.
That's another Southern slang. Now, it's not intended to offend those of the black race. It is not. Cotton
any
picking.
race.
My family, I remember as a little boy, my family, mother, dad, my brother, picking cotton just to make enough money to live on.
Oh,
so it's not a particular ethnic race.
I was a cotton picker when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, little
Got
things
the scars
like that.
on my fingers to show for it.
That doesn't mean someone is cutting you down or directly attacking your race or ethnicity, no matter who you are or what color you are.
Exactly.
That is just a Southern slang that we use and have used all of our lives. I mean, come on.
You know that the experts have deemed it necessary to strike words from the human language in 10 plus years from now? You want to hear some of them?
Talk to me.
Colored. Queer. And why this one got in there, I don't know. YOLO, Y-O-L-O. I always thought that meant you only live once. Coming out. Little person.
Saw that.
Yeah. Man up. Mortgage, which, do you know what the true meaning of mortgage, the definition of mortgage or its heritage is? It's a French word.
French word, yeah.
Meaning death grip.
Death grip. Well, some of these mortgage companies do have your ass in a death grip. But most of them are good guys.
Like a boa constrictor. Coder, which I don't know why. Sexy. Dual heritage, which brings the next one. And I don't even know what these letters mean. Never have, but I know what the flag means. LGBT. They're going to strike that from the human language. Fundamentalist.
LGBTQ.
Well, you too.
RSTUV WXYZ.
Back at you, bud.
Hey, I came across an interesting article, a freelance writer by the name of Kyle Smith. I was reading his op-ed piece that he had written that said that any suggestion that political correctness amounts to just being polite is absolute bonkers.
It is.
Today, it's a weapon deployed by capricious neurotics from Planet Grievance to ruin perfectly normal people who display perfectly normal earthling behavior, such as joking. You can't joke anymore.
Well, but yeah, on the other hand, attorneys are making buku bucks off discrimination lawsuits.
Well, that's
defamation
true.
of character.
Yeah.
Crap like that.
Yeah.
Like you said something to me, and I can't quite remember Saturday, but I'm sure I owe you 2 or 3 lawsuits. We'll start recording our little gatherings on Saturday.
I plead the fifth on that one.
I'm sure that means something.
But based on what you just said, on the discrimination thing, I mean, come on, guys. The word gay used to mean being happy, happy and gay.
Yeah. Well, I'll be happy, you be gay.
But now you can't use it to describe happiness.
You can't even
Transgender bathrooms. Come on, people.
Yeah.
It's simple. If you have a penis, you use the men's room.
Oh, you had to say it.
If you don't have it, you use the women's room. It's just that simple. What can I say?
Makes sense to me. I mean, you got my vote, Governor.
I'm running for the county line. I'd appreciate your support.
I'm running for high country.
Yeah, and juvenile delinquents, you can't call them that anymore. You call them children at risk. No, they're not at risk. They broke the law.
You know what they called it when I was growing up? The boy got his ass beat.
Yeah.
What they called it when I was growing up.
Yeah, good God.
Make your butt hurt.
You know, some of the other words, basket case. You can't say somebody's a basket case because that originated in World War I.
Yep.
It'll defend veterans of World War I. Now, God bless them and rest their soul. I don't think there's a living World War I veteran out there that you're going to offend on a war that was fought over 99 years ago.
Well, if there are, they
and
probably
they came
could give a
up
crap,
with that because with all the bombs and everything like that, a lot of times that's what they came home in is a basket, just pieces. And God bless their souls. And you can't say no can do anymore. How many times have we said that?
No can do.
Because it'll offend those of Chinese descent.
Yeah.
Long time no see.
I think I knew an Asian. That was his dad's name. No can do.
No can do.
No can do. Yeah.
Long time no see. It might offend Native Americans.
Yeah.
You know. Holy mackerel.
They got screwed coming and going, the Native Americans.
Did you know that PETA also wants to eliminate the word pet because it may be emotionally scarring to our animals?
Besides, it's a
Now,
bedroom word.
What dumbass come up with that?
I don't know, but I'd like to shake their
Really,
hand
I'm asking.
while I'm slamming them on the ground. So,
Huh?
I don't know. It's just, it's a sign of the times. It's a new world, I guess. I don't know what to attribute it to, but it's stupid.
You know, another thing that just eats me alive. I don't know about you folks out there. I'm not trying to step on any toes, but why do you get so engrossed in using a foreign country in front of the word American?
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Asian American.
Yeah.
African American.
Yeah.
Hispanic American.
There's only one kind of an American, and that is a legalized, naturalized American.
That's right.
If you're coming over here from a foreign country and you take the oath, you're not Chinese, Mexican, African, or anything else. You are an American.
You've been reading my notes, haven't you?
I have. I pay attention sometimes.
Back in the early 1900s, then President Theodore, or Teddy Roosevelt, was swearing in a bunch of immigrants to become Americans. And he gave a terrific speech. I went back yesterday and read the entire context of that speech, which you ought to. And he said, in other words, in part, when you become an American, you forget about your homeland. In other words, if it's from Africa or China or Mexico or Venezuela
I figure that's
or
why
Canada,
they're here anyway.
or
for that
anything
reason,
like that.
So.
He's saying forget about your homeland, but don't forget your heritage. There's a big difference there.
Huge difference, yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
He said, quote, unquote, you are simply an American. God bless him. Truer words were never spoken by anybody.
Well, and that's the way it should be. I mean, there's a reason people flog to America from foreign countries to do better.
And Pappy, why does people get so upset with the usage of the words black, white, yellow, brown?
I don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
I was telling you the story, and I think I'm going to tell it here. I was either a freshman or a sophomore in high school, and a black kid and I were, best friends. We knocked around with each other. I stayed at his house all night. He stayed at my house all night. We just cut up with each other, just had the biggest time. And we were sitting on the porch, cutting up with each other, calling each other names that I can't even say on this broadcast because I'll get killed. But my dad was sitting in his rocking chair whittling. And he finally said, "That's enough, boys." He said, "Y'all come here." So we both went up there, not just me, but, back then, if you're staying at their house,
boys being plural.
yes, yeah, he's got charge over it. He told me, he said, go find your mother's pin cushion. Oh, okay, you know. I went in, got Mom's pin cushion, brought it out to him. He took a needle. He said, give me your hands. And he poked our fingers.
Yeah?
Both of our fingers. He said, now bleed on the floor. So we looked at each other like this man has gone crazy or he's been hitting the whiskey behind our back. So we let a couple of drops drop, and he said, now go get your mother. I looked at my friend again, and I walked in, got Mom. I said, Dad wants you. So she comes out, and he said, Dooley? He said, I want you to look down here at this blood. I want you to tell me which one of those is your son's. She looks down at it, and she said, well, I can't tell the difference. He looked at both of us and said, don't forget that, boys. You can't tell the difference. What a lesson.
Dad was a very wise man.
Without saying a lot of words.
Yeah.
What's the old saying? Actions speak louder than words.
That's true. That's a good lesson. That's a good way to prove a point to a couple of not-headed kids.
Holy mackerel. God, we're just, and we're getting away, Pap. This may be another subject for a show. We're getting away from teaching boys how to become real men.
Oh, yeah.
Or little girls to become young ladies.
Yeah, that's a thing of the past, I think. This day and age.
Now, ladies, let me ask you an honest question out there. In today's world, don't you still want a guy that will open the door for you, show you courtesies, let you go in first, and show you respect?
As opposed to what? Somebody doesn't have a job or has never had a job and
or don't care,
has a drug problem,
or don't care.
That baffles me as well. I don't understand that.
I swear to God, if I did that to my wife, my daddy would get out of his grave and knock me in the back of the head.
You making Pops spin like a top inside that box right now.
Good Lord. And those are things I've never forgotten, and neither have you, because I've seen you do the same thing.
Well, they're instilled. I mean, you're instilled to be that way.
And
I mean, it's common courtesy and respect is what it's all about.
And parents do not teach children this these days.
No.
You've got some of these liberals out there out on the West Coast that thinks that women can be women by themselves. That's not the natural order.
And it's not just on the West Coast. It's everywhere.
Is.
I mean, we see it no more than we get around and get out and about. Just a prime example at the field office. We keep bringing the field office up. That's where everybody knows your name, like Cheers. Where we all gather and hang out.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of dear friends, you know. And you see it in there. I mean, and you see it out on the streets. You see it in the stores. You know what I mean?
That's just something that is not taught
it
these days.
It does. It saddens me to see how that's kind of transpired. Yeah.
We'd like to know what you think, everybody out there, because like I say, we probably are stepping on some toes, but hey, it's our opinion, and we want to know what yours is, because we read your opinions on this website.
We read everything. Yeah,
we surely do.
All your emails, all your comments. We're watching and we're listening.
And you know another thing that bothers me, Pappy?
What's that?
Taking down of all of these monuments, be it Confederate War, Civil War monuments, or stuff like that.
We've got
folks.
We're living in a time where people's kicking over veterans' tombstones.
Boy, they better not ever let me see them do it.
Gladly serve time if I walked up on somebody to do that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's sick.
Yeah, I don't think there would be a jury in the country that would convict me of shooting somebody for kicking over or...
If I caught anybody kicking over Pops's veteran tombstone, they'd be buried next to it.
Well, maybe not next to him.
Well, you catch my drift, though.
I know
I would exercise my Second Amendment rights real quick.
You know, I keep
that's nuts.
now I keep thinking to myself here, folks, why are you taking down our history? That's history of our country. You cannot change the history. We learn from that history, and things have moved forward. What if we started taking down the big monument of Barack Obama or
Dr. Martin Luther King?
Dr. Martin Luther King, who was just a great American, in my opinion.
Nobody's kicked down Pancho Villa's statue.
You know,
he
or
was a bad
anything
guy.
of the Hispanic culture or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we started doing that, I mean, golly, can you imagine the chaos?
And I brought this up earlier, prior to the podcast. You know, back when Jesus was a choir boy, we were in grade school, right? So to speak. And I remember along about the third or fourth grade, I had noticed some changes in the history books, American history.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't want to talk about what had happened with the Native Americans anymore. Custard's word was not even mentioned in my history book in the fourth or fifth grade. I mean, why? I mean, it's history, just like you said. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's what brought this. I mean, that's how we conquered. That's how America was formed, through violence and guns and
the taming of the country.
Cowboys and Indians and all that good stuff. You know, the Spaniards and the English, all of them. I mean, it happened, and you can't. I mean, maybe I should just put it this way. I'm so glad I'm not going to be around to witness when all of history is deleted. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about what's going to be in the new history books.
Teach your children the right way.
Teach your children well.
I've told the story on a previous podcast. Is I didn't make my Little League team until the third time.
You didn't get a trophy either, did you?
I was not good enough.
Yeah.
That taught me resilience. Okay, I got to get better. Got to get better, which I did, and I made it.
Achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And know what disappointment is. Yeah. No, and you're right. If you won it, you got a trophy. If you came in second, everybody says, "Good job."
Sorry.
How
bad do you want it? That's what I used to preach to my boy. All three of them will tell you to this very day, and it just chaps their ass every time I say it now. But I say it in jest now because they're all grown men doing quite well for themselves. They'd tell me, I want this. Well, how bad do you want it, boy?
Yeah.
Go get it if you want it. That's what I had to do. Had to work for it, you know?
Well, we want to know what your opinions are, everybody.
Yeah.
We've pissed enough people off here.
I hope so.
But
maybe it'll be an eye-opener.
Let us know what you think, and we'll read it right here on the program.
Grandpa and Pappy at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Now let's move on, Pappy, to our viewer comments. Andrew from Weatherford, Texas, asked why there have been no congressional committees formed to investigate all the pork barrel spending the Democrats just rammed down our throats.
What's pork barrel spending?
Putting in extra stuff.
Oh.
That, well, let's look at the bill that just passed.
Milking the pig. Is that what I mean?
Well, yeah, throwing in all this stuff, like all this money for the Kennedy Center, Congress getting a 25% pay increase, all of this stuff, except for what the bill was originally intended. That was to give relief to Americans. That's what pork barrel is.
Slide some extra goodies back in there. I've never heard it called that. Our buddy Trucker Bob from Midland, Texas, asked us to give you a shout-out. Here's your shout-out, brother. You've got a comedy career driving up and down that road, Ratchet John, on that CB radio. I am certain of that because I've been out there and heard some of that. Just be safe out there, man. Let us hear from you, Grandpa and Pappy at gmail.com. We want to hear some of these funnies you spouting around out there and spreading
absolutely. Trucker Bob,
the gift of happy and laughter. Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah, let's hear from you, brother. Thanks for tuning in too, by the way.
Well, hey, this is basically what we were talking about a while ago. Patricia says that we need to do a show on how to keep the kids entertained while we're sheltered in place. Well, we're going to think about that.
We don't have that problem, do we?
We don't have that problem.
All I got to do is entertain a divine Miss Dolly, and everything goes smooth up here. Our buddy Matt reminded us that while we're all stuck at home, we need to give a shout out to all the heating AC people that keep your units going. Well, Matt, are you an AC guy, by the way?
I think so.
They are essential services and risk their health each day for your comfort.
Yeah, well, thanks for all the stuff that you're writing in, and we do appreciate it.
Do you work on RVs, by the way, Matt?
I heard that. Grandpa and Pappy at gmail.com is our email address. We want to hear from you guys.
And feel free to check us out on YouTube as well.
Now, we've got an interesting program coming up on our next podcast.
Wait.
That'll piss a few people off as well.
It's one that all the non-smokers probably look at like it's a burnout subject, you know.
He'll be here all week, folks.
And it'll be on smokers' rights.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an ex-smoker, I don't want you coming down on me because you were there. You know how hard it was to quit. I've personally been smoking since I was 12 years of age, since I was a boy.
We really do want you to write in with your comments, pro and con on smoking or no smoking, smokers' rights or no rights. We want to hear from you.
That's right.
And we're going to read them all, and we're going to give you our opinions on the next show. So,
the ones we don't like, we'll just throw in the trash while we're smoking a cigarette in the break room. So.
That's exactly right.
Just kidding.
It's been fun today, Pappy.
Yeah. Well, it's been intriguing to say the least.
Something we all talk about all the time, but nobody ever just generally looks and talks about.
We take it for granted. Nobody gives a poopy anymore. And if you have any ideas or comments or suggestions, well, I've been guilty of that a few times myself, about political correctness or smoking rights. Yeah. Drop us a line, by all means. We love having something to talk about. So.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's show, and we look forward to being with you again on our next podcast. Be watching our podcast page, which is over 700 members now, and growing, and we thank you for that.
That's so, Grandpa and Pappy podcast show. Yeah.
Yeah, and go on YouTube and watch all of our podcasts.
Yeah, tell a friend about it.
Absolutely.
More the merrier.
Be sure to subscribe.
And we'll talk about them too, by God.
We sure will. Until we see you next time, stay safe at home.
By all means.
Wash your hands. keep to yourself. And we'll see you next time.
We love you.
Bye-bye.
Later.